Hello. Oh my gosh, is it Tuesday? You know what time it is? It's time for me to start cooking on this Tuesday. And you're wondering, girl, what we having tonight? Well, okay, so technically I'm not having anything tonight per se. I'm not going to have, I'm going to do one of the dishes I'll eat tonight, and I'm going to do something else. But then this casserole that I'm doing, this mac and cheese with ground turkey, that's going to be like for tomorrow's lunch, and then I think Thursday as well. So I've got Blackberry lime mocktail, not in this order, but then I've got the ground beef, the mac and cheese with ground beef, cooking up the mac and cheese right now. I already did the ground beef this morning. Then I've got cucumber boats, which I'm technically going to start on first because that's kind of like ready to go. But without further ado on this, I am going to go ahead and get this mac and cheese going. I feel like it's been a long time since I made mac and cheese, and I know it hasn't, but it just kind of feels that way. So this time I'm going to be using the 3 cheese shells, and so I kind of like shells because they are very versatile. So you can do shells on their own and put a little cheese on top. Okay, cool, macaroni and cheese. But it also goes really well with meat. You know, sometimes when you have macaroni and cheese, you're like, oh, look, the macaroni and cheese tastes good with the meat, but the textures don't go. Like, you have got these big old, macaroni, like the cavatappi noodles, which, again, I love them. But then if you've got heavy pieces of meat, it just doesn't go. You almost need meat to be some type of condiment. And I'm actually, speaking of that, I'm actually going to use the ground turkey tonight. It's going to be condiment. So I had like a package of it. I split it in half. I made 2 ground beef patties. I ate one for lunch earlier today. I'm actually going to eat the other one tonight on a brioche bun. I'll take a picture before I do that. I won't, do the grill thing on camera because I got a lot going on, but I will take a picture of it so you can see it. So I halved that, and then I ground up the other half because I know right now, when I'm reading about, all the things going on with meats and all that stuff, it's getting kind of scarce out there as far as pricing. So I know a lot of people in my age group, Gen X, have mentioned that, hey girl, you know what? We going back to 1985 when meat was a condiment, when you had a lot of stews and you did a lot of loose meat manwich stuff, all that kind of thing, just trying to make things stretch. So we're trying to make things stretch right now. So I'm on board and I'm all about it. So we're going to stretch, and that's going to be a little bit later as this cooks up. I just want to stir this a little bit because this is cooking up. I mean, this is cooking up real fast. I'm like, dang, y'all, you can at least wait for me. Gotta make sure to keep this together so it doesn't get all stuck. It doesn't get all stuck and all that other annoying thing. Okay, but I'm back now. I'm actually going to turn this down just a little bit. I'm just turning this down a little bit because I didn't realize I was going to get so hot. Okay, now we're going back to the cucumber boats. Now you're like, what's a cucumber boat? Now I've done this on camera before, but I had the mini ones, and originally I was actually going to use mini ones, but when I put my order in, they were out, so I had to have a substitution. Which again, at my age and stage, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm taking an L because I couldn't get what I wanted and they got substituted. So what ended up happening is instead of getting the mini cucumbers where I could kind of do those little sleek little boats, I had plans for those. I had to get 2 big cucumbers, but that's okay. I cut one in half and I'll eat the other one tomorrow because cucumbers don't last a long time when they're cut in half. So what I did was this is half, and I cored it out. And again, I used one of these cute little teaspoon things that I got from Amazon. I got about 8 in a set. I love them so much. Okay, so what I've got on this is I did a little lemon juice. I did a little harissa because I'm using my harissa. Okay, y'all. Nothing is going to waste. Now look at the size of this spoon right here. This is the perfect size to kind of scoop things in here. So I'm gonna start, and what I have is I have some sun-dried tomatoes that I attempted to chop, but sun-dried tomatoes, it can get a little difficult. So I've got my sun-dried tomatoes. That's actually going to be the base because there's a lot of flavor with them. So I'm going to actually kind of do them as a base. And so, as I mentioned, I'm going to do a ground turkey burger off camera. I already made it, so I'll send you a picture of it. And I'm going to substitute the sun-dried tomatoes with the cucumber boats. that's going to be like my fries tonight. Because technically I had waffle fries earlier today, and I try not to do too much with potatoes. I try not to do a 2 potato day, although sometimes that happens when I go on vacation. Okay, so I have got my, I've got the sun-dried tomatoes. I have some fresh basil, from my kitchen garden. Feeling, you know, I'm feeling like the barefoot Contessa here with all that. And then I have got, I'm going to put this layer of chopped pepperoni. Got some chopped pepperoni here as well. And this is perfect for like a little snack plate situation. So I'm going to do that. And it doesn't have to look perfect. I just basically wanted to have something that was like a good side thing. And again, this is kind of like my salad tonight. Now I did technically eat a salad at lunch today as well, but still, this is like part 2 of my salad. And I do have a lot of pepperoni in here because I've got I've got 2 packets. I didn't realize I had 2 packets and they're both open. So I'm like, okay, we got to do that the kitchen clean down. Now underneath this cheese, I have got some capers, and I always like to put capers on last if I can, just because, you know, capers will steal the whole show if I start it off as the base, and I kind of want the sun-dried tomatoes to do that. And I did put a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of lemon juice on here, and so it's been sitting in my refrigerator, so it's kind of like marinated and all that stuff. And I've got the harissa. I've got like the harissa that I put on top of that, and I did a little bit of smoked paprika as well, kind of to calm that down, because what I want is a savory taste. Now, in going forward, I think in the coming weeks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use wasabi, and I'm going to do, hey, what is up? I love you too, girl. Love you too, Melissa. Shout out to you. So what I think I'm going to do is, like going forward, I have like a little pack of a mini wasabi like nori situation, and so I'm going to use that in a cucumber boat, like a future cucumber boat, and I'm going to use more like, I'll use like some ginger and and then I might even, I've got some rice noodles. I could put some rice noodles in here for that one, but here you go right here. And I will take a picture of this, but this is just a really simple way. Now listen, you might be like, girl, this is a lot. So what you can do is you can chop this up, right? I should have chopped them up into fourths, but I wasn't really thinking. But you can chop this up, and I think, hang on, see if I can do this on camera. It's just me and my cleaver against the world. What's up, the queen of whimsy? Lori is watching me, yay. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna cut this into fourths. So see, it's a little bit more palatable here. So it's a lot more palatable to take a bite of this. And I'll be serving this with my ground turkey and grilled brioche bun. I'll be doing that off camera though. I'll just take a picture of that because I don't feel like having to grill up that bun and do all the other stuff. I'm not gonna do that tonight because I got a lot going on. Okay, so we've got the first thing out of the way now that I've got these cut, and I always do take pictures of this. Now you could, if you were feeling like super creative, and I know you guys are, you could core out these cucumbers, and like I talked about, when I turn this into more of like an Asian flavor thing, when I've got the wasabi, and I might do a little like cooked rice noodle in here with some ginger, maybe like even a little bit of, what's up, Amy? Maybe even a little bit of like green onions on top. Or if I didn't want to do rice noodle, I could do like jasmine rice. Or if I was feeling fancy, I could do a little sushi rice in here. And I could turn this into kind of like a literal cucumber boat kind of situation with sushi rice and wasabi seaweed, like all that stuff. I could put that in there. And I've got these little cute little bites. I could also put some kind of chicken in here. I probably would do a grilled chicken instead of doing like a breaded one, because I feel like the breaded one would get kind of soggy, and I don't know, soggy stuff makes me sad. Or I could take some stuff from the wok and cook up some wok things and put like little pieces in these boats as well. And look what I've got, right? I always like to have like a nice little bite. These are going to substitute for the fries tonight when I do it with my my brioche grilled bunned ground turkey burger. Okay, so I'm moving these off. I'm going to go ahead and actually put these in the refrigerator for a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be too long tonight, but you never know. Yay, you're chilling. I love to hear that you are chilling from your work day. I thought about chilling a little longer, and then I thought if I chill a little longer, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to be like, meh, I'll just push it back. So I am here, but tomorrow I plan on chilling. Well, chilling for me anyway. So I'm going to move this cleaver out of the way because it has done its work. And now that you guys have all seen my outfit here, what the fit, check out the TikTok shop fit. Now that you've seen that, because it's going to get a little bit more intense. And you know, I don't want to damage my beautiful yellow frock. I am going to put on my cupcake apron here. So here we go with my cupcake apron. Okay. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this a little bit more. Man, this is cooking. It's like let her cook. Okay. I'll let this cook a little bit more. These shells, just FYI, they do cook up a lot faster than if you've got a bigger like macaroni noodle. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, I'm moving this out of the way. So then the next thing I've got going on is, let's see here. I've actually got this drink. Let's do this drink here. But let's move this out of the way. So I'm going to be doing a lot of this, like moving things out of the way. So it'll be just like, you know, summer stock theater where you're like, oh, look, is that table is moving, but it's not moving. It's like a key grip that's moving things around. Okay. Now, let's see here. Now, for this blackberry lime mint, I've got some fresh mint from my kitchen garden. For this, I'm going to add that in there. Now, you know, if you have been rocking with me for a little bit, you know that I do not like to waste things. That, those look uncomfortable, those vibration plates. I have a walking pad. I think I got that from Amazon, though. I got the bands, like the workout bands from TikTok shop. That was actually pretty dope. And then I got the stepper. So let's see here. I just washed this out. That's why you're seeing like the wet things there. Okay. So I'm going to start this off with the Jello. And this is the lime Jello that is, let's see, is it sugar-free? I don't know if this one's sugar-free. Hang on. Let me stab this here. So I went to the Dollar Tree like maybe a month or so ago, and I got lime because I was going to do like I did a cherry limeade kind of mocktail thing, because my thing about mocktails, especially mocktails, cocktails, but I'm not a huge drinker, but you know, I do like to occasionally have a cocktail. I like things to have depth, and when they're doing the cocktails, for some reason they have the depth, but when they do the mocktails, it just tastes like they put some fruit punch together. I'm like, is this mystery punch from like the 5th grade? So I'm like, okay, I don't like that, but then also I don't want to spend a lot of money, and I want to, since I talk to people about, hey, we're all in this together as far as these grocery prices, I don't want to be a hypocrite, and I'm like, yeah, it's only $16 for these ingredients. That would not be good, and I feel like, you know, my family would call me out so hard that I would never live it down. So I've got this going on right here. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is, where did my notebook go? Okay, so I've got the blackberries. I have those blackberries from a few weeks ago, and they were just like, they were right in that kind of level where it's like, you're gonna have to get rid of them. So what I like to do is, I went ahead and I turned it into like, I macerated them. So I put them in a pan, cooked them down with a little sugar, and cooked them down with like lemon and lime juice. I like to do that citrus in there to kind of give it a nice spin. And I'm looking for a spoon. I guess I'll just use a regular spoon. I'm going to use a regular spoon. Okay, so we've got this in here. These are the fresh blackberries. Now I try to use fresh whenever I can, but look, it's expensive right now. So if all you got is like, you know, blackberry gelatin to put in there, go ahead and do that. No one is mad at you. Nothing really matters anymore anyway, okay? So, yeah. Oh, hi, Kobe. I feel like maybe I'm his great Aunt Lady. Ooh, time is catching up with me. But I cannot forget these fresh pieces of mint that I got from I accidentally bought 2 mint plants last year. And I was like, well, one of them will die. Girl, mint don't die, okay? Mint does not really die. Okay, let's see here. Oof. Okay, I've got this now because, you know, I'm measuring stuff now anyways. This is a cup. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. A cup of this sparkling lime, sparkling water. Hang on just one moment. Got to do something in here. I forgot that even though it's almost October, that my thermostat thinks it's still, you know, August, because, you know, it's. I was like, oh my gosh, it's kind of hot in here. Okay, so I've got all that right here. Okay, so because it's just, I'm just doing a single shot of this, I'm not going to do a lot. Because, again, when you're just doing like 1 or 2 people, you know, I try to keep it really simple. Now, this is a very simple kind of drink thing. So I try to do like a little pulse. And then... Okay. So I've got my mocktail here. I'm going to unplug this thing like so. This over here, I like putting things in the back. And then I do have this right here. Now I know the past couple of weeks what I've been doing is I've been doing flight of the mocktail, but this week I was like, I still have these blackberries left over. I don't want to do too much. I'm not really feeling it, and that's okay. That's going to happen. Like, I think sometimes when people, you know, go back to their kitchen, to their cooking, they feel like everything has to be this social media beautiful meal, and sometimes it's not going to be that. Okay, sometimes you're going to be eating stuff out of the container, you're going to be using paper plates. There's no shame in your game. The fact that you're able to cook and, you know, even heat something up, I'm proud of you. Okay, because we're all just trying to make it right now. Okay, let's see here. I think that this is almost ready. I feel like I keep losing things. Hang on. Oh, I need to get a real spoon. I'm like, why isn't this doing this? Because I need a real spoon. Hang on. Spoon here. Okay, so this is really tender now. So it is ready. It's ready to go. So we're going to turn this off, and I am going to get, where did I, it's over here. In my mind, I took this over here, but in reality, I did not. So I'll be right back. Okay. Keep this here because we got more magic coming. You're thinking, you're like, oh, we're just going to do macaroni and cheese, but I got that ground turkey. It's going to be coming pretty soon. Okay. Let me just get this back in here. I like to put a big bowl underneath, even though it was not in danger of doing anything. I still like to kind of do that big bowl. So what we're going to do is we are going to come in with this milk, because I do have milk that was on sale. Hello, Cousin Connie. I do have milk that was on sale. I like to add, like, they'll say, oh, you don't need to add a lot of milk. You know, it's just a little bit, but I kind of like to, you know, I kind of like to do, it's a 1/4 cup of milk. I like to do a little bit closer to like a half, just because. Okay. Doing that. Got the milk in there. And then I've got to use this packet here. And then I also have cheese, but what I like to do is I'm going to go ahead and use this packet, and then I'm going to add the cheese in later because I still have to add other stuff inside of it. So I don't want it to be too like gooey, and then I can't get the ground turkey in there. So let me just try to, for some reason, this is like fighting me. Why are you fighting me? Stop fighting me. Powdered cheese. Okay, let's get this going. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back in here, and then I've got some butter in here. I'm looking for, hang on. So So, you know, anytime you've got these sticks of butter, if you're of a certain age, you remember butter, even though it wasn't as expensive as it is now, it still was like liquid gold. I'm telling you, if there was any kind of leftover butter, grandmothers everywhere where they were trying to like make it last. It's like, what are you doing? There's still a pat of butter. I'm like, what are you going to do with the pat of butter? And then, of course, you know, as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, wait, there's a lot of stuff you can do with a pat of butter. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of take a little bit here. Okay, it's not very, I'm not being very scientific right now, but I don't want to put this is probably all I want to put in there. Whoops, it just kind of flew off there. Okay, just a little bit more. And again, had I been a little bit more organized, I would have already had the butter pre-cut, but you know what? It's Tuesday, so I'm literally just trying to make it right now, just like everybody. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way, and then I'll come and we'll start circling, or we will start stirring all of this stuff, just getting that mocktail out of the way. And then I'll add in the ground turkey. There. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna stir this in here, just like so. Just like so. Now I know some of you are scared. You're like, girl, I have not seen one seasoning come in here. You will. You will. I just want to kind of get, because you know this is powdered, and I want to get the powdered stuff in here first. Then I'm going to throw a little bit of the seasoning, and then I'm going to introduce the ground turkey that has been seasoned. But again, I like to season my food, but I also know I don't want that thing where it's like I'm over seasoning things. I know, don't kick me out. Don't kick me out. But let's see here. So I started with smoked paprika, but also what I want to do as well is I want to get in, where's this ground pepper? Just a little bit of ground pepper, not a lot, but just a little bit, because sometimes if you have, for me, certain seasonings, if it's just them, yeah, it tastes good, but it feels like there's not like seasoning at the bottom of it. I don't know how to describe it. There's like a flavor, there's a depth of seasoning that's missing. So we're just gonna, on this, I'm just shaking it, okay? I'm doing grandma rules here. I'm not measuring everything out. I do apologize, but I feel like with macaroni and cheese, everyone is so different about what they want in it. So, and then I'm gonna do a little, like two shakes, which I think is probably like half a teaspoon. So I've got that going on in here. So we're gonna layer some other stuff. So what is next? What is next is the ground turkey. Okay, so I've got ground turkey here. Now I don't have a lot in here because what I did is I used this ground turkey, I cut it in half in the package, and I used some of it for like 2 ground turkey patties, and then the rest of it here, because you know we've got to, right now with the prices, we have to use meat as a condiment, kind of like we used to do that in the olden days, you know, like in the 80s, the olden days. But we want to do that because, again, you still have the essence of meat, and there's still technically a lot of meat in here. There's actually, to me, there's a lot of meat in here, but it's not overloaded with meat. It's not like meat is the main thing, and then I just, you know, the macaroni noodles, they're the condiment. Make meat the condiment, so you've got the meat in there, but it's not taking over. You've probably got like a little bit more, you got like more pasta than you do meat. So I've got this seasoned, but what else can I do? Now, don't be shocked, because I know some people do not like green peppers, but for me, I love green peppers. And one of the things I love about green peppers is that they have the ability to season things well, and you get a nice crunch. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like sauteed green peppers, but I also appreciate how powerful they can be when they're fresh. And I'm gonna, you know, come through here and I'm just gonna have like a crunch. There's gonna be this nice kind of crunch here, and it's gonna give like the food a really hearty taste. Now it is in the temperature is like in the 80s right now, right? 70s, 80s. So you're thinking, girl, I don't want a hearty taste yet. But in my mind, it's almost October and the weather needs to conduct itself accordingly, okay? Yeah, I'm so excited for October. I'm such a Anne of Green Gables fan. You know that quote? You're going to see it from me either tomorrow or in some part of October. You're going to see about you know, world of Octobers, like how you like to live in that you're going to see that. You're going to be so sick of me and my end of Green Gables and Little Women quotes. But again, I feel like if you Facebook friended me, you signed up for this. Okay, I feel like I can do a little bit more. I'm looking at these green peppers and I feel like I could do a little bit more. Not too much more, but a little bit more. And this is going to be good because when I cook this up tomorrow, you know, all the flavors are going to be married together. They're going to be really good. So I'm really excited about that. So what I'll do tomorrow is I'm not going to add any extra cheese right now on the stove. I'm going to wait. So when I'll serve it in, actually I can actually take out a ramekin. I'll serve it in a ramekin this size. So let's see here. If I do a ramekin like this, right here, I guess I could take a picture of this too. What I'll do is I will serve it and then I'll throw a little like cheese on top. So you throw a little cheese on top. Maybe even with the cheese on top, you can put like a couple of, you know, cut a couple of green onions on top of that and kind of give it a nice flavor profile. Now, if I didn't have a ton of cheese or I had a lot of people oh yes, it is mine too. It's mine too. I love it. Now, I know Netflix has a newer one, and no disrespect to that because I love how people are always updating things for the newer generations, but my favorite is the one from the 80s. So yeah, anyways, so if I didn't have a lot of cheese, like extra cheese, if I had a lot of people to feed with it, I would use, now don't cancel me, I would use this powdered cheese right here. You know the cheese that we use, like the Parmesan and Romano, like powdered cheese? I would actually put that on top to give it like flavor, like, you know, a little bit more of a cheese flavor. But again, sometimes if you got a ton of people to feed or you're running low on cheese on your pantry and you still have a couple days until your food budget kicks in, that's the kind of stuff you got to do to kind of make it work. Okay, so this is done. So I'm going to kind of move this back and I'm going to unplug that right there. So I guess I showed you the cucumber boats, and I showed you the macaroni and cheese with green peppers and ground turkey as a kind of like a condiment thing. And here is the blackberry lime mint. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that, and I will, because, you know, listen, you can't taste this with me. This is a mocktail. If you were feeling a little, you know, it was like Friday at 6 p.m. and you're like, you know, I just want a little bit more of an adult beverage, you could add a little vodka or gin to it and be pretty good. Or maybe even like, you could maybe even do like a little bit of a rosé, like just a little drop of it. Okay, so here we go. This is really good. It's really nice. The fresh blackberries really add to it. But if you only had, you could also make this, because I used the lime jello in there, you could also use a powdered form of like a blueberry flavoring, you know, like kind of like I don't know what they're called. It's like, it's not Kool-Aid, but it's something else all the people do. They've got blackberry. They've got that as Crystal Light. I think it's Crystal Light because I started thinking of that song, I Believe in Crystal Light. Yeah, that's the one. You could put that in there as well. The key lime is what really makes it. Now, if you don't have key lime, sparkling water, you can add a little bit of lime juice. That works too. You could add like whatever you like, you know, again, I always have lemon and lime juice in my refrigerator, but if you didn't have that and all you had was like some lemon lime soda, that would work as well. The fresh blackberries really added an extra kick, but you could also, you know, throw in some blackberry flavored stuff because the lime has got your back. It's got a really strong kind of lime presence in here, so I really appreciate it. And if you were to have an adult beverage on a Friday at 6 p.m., you'd add a little vodka, maybe a little nip of gin, or like a little bit of like rosé or something like that. And on that note, thank you so much for joining me in my chaotic but loving kitchen. I will talk to you guys soon. I'll see you next Tuesday. I'm already kind of brainstorming what I want to do. I'm also thinking about, for the cucumber boats, doing like maybe Asian inspired stuff, maybe adding like a little bit of rice in there just something really simple. A substitute, like kind of a way to kind of incorporate veggies without, the commitment of a salad. But also because I already had potatoes today, so I don't want to do like another thing of waffle fries. But I'll also talk about waffle fries. I forgot how much I love waffle fries, how versatile they are. It's a really nice breakfast. To me, it's like a really nice breakfast potato, but you could also do it at dinner, and you could also do like, maybe I'll do breakfast as dinner, something like that, and use those waffle fries. I also, maybe next time I'll just do prep because, Big Bertha, my waffle maker, she hasn't seen a lot of action lately because, like the last time I think I cooked on camera, Big Bertha started like smoking and sinking like the Titanic. I was like, oh girl, come on now. So I might go ahead and do that because I do want to go ahead and get some stuff together for the next couple weeks, prep some breakfast, all of that. So you guys can find me at AuntLainey'sKitchen.com, Aunt Lainey's Kitchen on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and I'm going to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and then you can also listen to my podcast on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, and Apple. Okay, everyone. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.